Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of More Sports. Glad you're with us. We're going to talk some high school football here in a bit. We'll name the More Sports Player of the Week. We got week 2 of the playoffs coming up on Friday night, and it was a great Friday night. That first round of playoffs was absolutely fantastic, and this week's Friday night games look great too. But we'll meet this week's More Sports Player of the Week in a few minutes. First, we're going to talk some Razorback football, and I like to bring on former Razorbacks and just get their opinion on things and talk about the good old days. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Tim Horton, former Razorback coach, joins us now. Coach, welcome into More Sports. It is truly an honor to have you on.
Well, Wes, thank you. I've always had great respect for you and the job you did there in Little Rock at Channel 11 and Channel 7. And just you were outstanding, as good as there is. And so I'm really excited about your new venture here with More Sports, and I know you're doing great. So it's an honor to be here.
Well, I appreciate you giving us some time, and you're busy, with Air Force, and you got games to win and things to coach for. So thank you for giving us a couple minutes tonight to talk a little bit about you and the good old days too. First, just how is the season going? How is Air Force? Because I get to talk to some of the kids you're recruiting here, and they've been on visits, and they just rave about the place and just can't wait to get up there. So what is going on up there?
It's a wonderful place, and this is now my 12th year at the Air Force Academy. I was here 7 years early in my career. I came back for a brief time for about a little less than a year in 2006, and then now it's my third trip, and I've been back for going on 5 years now, and it's a place that we really love. I mean, you just get to coach the best of the best, because these are young men that want to serve their country. Their academics are very, very important to them. They're getting as good an education as there is in the world. And then they're going to lay it on the line for you on Saturday afternoon too. And so we've had some really good teams here since I've been back. We won 10 our first year, 10 our second year, 9 our third year. This year we're struggling a little bit. We're a little bit like Arkansas. We've lost some close games, but we're optimistic that we'll finish strong. So very blessed to be here and excited to be a part of the Air Force family.
As I mentioned, you're recruiting some kids from the state. What is it about Arkansas you like coming back and recruiting some of these kids? What is it about them?
There's really not many places anymore that are under recruited. I mean, you go into Dallas or Atlanta or, just Nashville, you go into different cities that I recruit in, and boy, there's just schools everywhere. There's all kinds of coaches. There's all kinds of recruiting going on. And Arkansas, as good as the quality of football that you have, as well as the quality of coaching that you have, I don't know that it's under recruited, but it's not as heavily rooted as some other maybe bigger cities and more populous states. And so we've got several kids on our team from the state of Arkansas, and we got several that are committed to be coming. And so as long as I'm here, we're going to continue to recruit Arkansas, because we know we can get good players, and we've got such a good product to offer as well.
And it got me thinking, because we talk about this a lot. The portal has hurt high school recruiting, because now some of the Power 4 teams will just hit the portal and get an older guy to come in instead of developing a younger guy. Does that help a place like the Academy, that maybe they're skipping some of these players?
I think it does. I think, back when I played, and really back when I was coaching at Arkansas, the development phase was so important, and to redshirt that kid, and, maybe by the time that offensive lineman is a junior, he's ready to play, and he's going to have 2 really good years for you. And you don't get that in the SEC a lot anymore. You don't get it in the Big Ten. But at the Air Force Academy, at the Naval Academy, at West Point, you're getting kids that kind of have a little opportunity to get into the crock pot, so to speak, and let them mature. And then, Air Force has a great tradition. I mean, the last time we played the Texas Longhorns, we beat them. The last time we played Ohio State, we beat them. The last time we played Ole Miss, we beat them. And so we've got a really good football tradition here. It started, Ken Hatfield was really the one that kick-started it open. And Then he passed it on to Fisher DeBerry for 25 years, and now Troy Calhoun for the last 18 years. So got a good thing going, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
It's development for you guys, and that's not the story at a lot of programs anymore. And so I could see where that would give you an edge.
It is. I tell you, there is one thing that, Coach DeBerry used to always say there's no utopias, and we don't redshirt. When a kid comes here, it's a 4-year program. And so we don't get to redshirt kids, which is, a little bit of a disadvantage. But at the same time, we know we're going to have them for 4 years, whereas sometimes at other programs now, they may have them for 1 semester. And so it's worked out well for really all the service academies.
Do y'all use the portal at all?
We cannot. No, we can't use the portal. We don't take transfers at our school. We can't use the portal. So that I'm not even in that world, which thank God, so.
Do your guys leave?
Last year we had 2, but they've got to leave by the first day of class of their junior year. Once they get to the first day of class of their junior year, they're tied to the Air Force. They're tied to the Air Force Academy, and the same at the Naval Academy and at West Point.
Wow. I mean, I know you talk to some of your coaching friends out there. I mean, the problems that they're dealing with, y'all don't have to deal with there.
That is correct. That is correct. And so the quality of my life is really good. And so, I'm probably in the 4th quarter of my career. I would think so. I don't know if I'm early in the 4th or late in the 4th, but if it ends up here at the Air Force Academy, then that's great.
That's awesome. And I'm so happy for you. What a great coaching situation, truly coaching. And a lot of that's kind of missing in college football now because of all the changes.
No doubt.
Got Tim Horton with us here. Coach, the Arkansas job's up. Is the Arkansas job in the coaching world, is it a good job?
It's interesting. I obviously played at Arkansas and was honored to be the team captain of the winningest senior class in the history of Razorback football with Coach Hatfield. And then I came back with Coach Nutt and then obviously worked with Coach Petrino as well. And it is revered as a good job. I think some people that know Arkansas probably have higher value or have higher opinion of it than those that really aren't from the state or maybe from Arkansas. There are probably some disadvantages. When I coached at Arkansas, I used to think Arkansas and Auburn were similar jobs. And then when I coached for 6 years at Auburn has a big advantage because of where they're located. The location in terms of proximity to players. And, that's where schools like Auburn and LSU and Clemson and Alabama and Florida State should always be pretty strong because their proximity to some of the best high school football in the country is 3 hours from their campus. That's not necessarily the case at Arkansas, but Arkansas high school football is good. I think it's very well coached. I think it's improved in so many ways. And I think the Arkansas job's a really good job.
What's missing at Arkansas?
I do have an opinion on this. I think I'm right on this. I think Arkansas has had 1 winning season in the SEC in the last 14 years. Okay. I'm talking about conference record, 1 winning season in 14 years. And I actually think that was Coach Bielema's 2nd year is what I think it was. And what else you've seen at Arkansas is, and I'm an Arkansas guy, man. I grew up in Fayetteville. I'm a proud Conway Wampus cat. I played at Arkansas. I coached at Arkansas. My dad worked there for 40 years. And so I'm about as Razorback as you can be. But they've got to get the Arkansas back at the University of Arkansas. I mean, when we won the Southwest Conference Championship in 88 and 89, we probably had 18 starters from the state of Arkansas. And people might say, well, you can't do it like that anymore. Well, 15 years ago when we went to the Sugar Bowl and we won the Cotton Bowl with Coach Petrino there, we probably had about 12 or 13 kids that were starters that were from the state of Arkansas. And I can give you a bunch of names. I mean, I'm thinking back to the Sugar Bowl team and the Cotton Bowl teams there. You got Ryan Mallett from Farmington or Texarkana, whatever you want to say. You got Dennis Johnson from Texarkana. You got Tyler Wilson from Greenwood. You got Broderick Green and Hunter Henry from Pulaski Academy. You got Joe Adams and DJ Williams from CAC. You got Jarius Wright, Greg Childs, Chris Gregg from Warren. You got Zach Stather from North Little Rock. You got Garrett Ekman and Jake Beckett from Catholic. You got Brandon Allen from Fayetteville. You got Byron Jones from Junction City. You got Jerry Franklin from Marion. You got Bray Cook from Springdale Harbor. I mean, and I'm sure I missed some, but golly, those are really good players that helped you go to really good bowls. And there's maybe twice as many of that from back when I played. I mean, from Freddie Childress to James Rouse to Richard Brothers to Wayne Martin to Ricky Williams, Anthony Cooney, Otis Lloyd, Patrick Williams. I mean, on and on and on. And so I just really think that whoever gets that job has got to somehow, you can't let the best kids in your state get out of there. And I just think that's imperative.
Yeah, and sometimes, Coach, you named a lot of great players, but there were also some that developed at Arkansas and got better at Arkansas. And so maybe that's some of the kids at Arkansas that they need another 2 years, maybe 3 years.
You know, I got a great story, and I don't want to get too long-winded here, but I played with a young man named Patrick Williams. Patrick was from McGee, Arkansas, and Patrick was a safety for us and was really a good player. Probably started 2 years. He was one safety. Steve Atwater was the other safety. And I can vividly remember this, eating breakfast with, I called him P-Dub, Patrick Williams. I remember eating breakfast with P-Dub one morning, and I said, P-Dub, did you ever think about leaving? Because he didn't really play much. He got redshirted. He actually signed with UCA. Back then, you could play in the Arkansas High School All-Star game in Conway in late July, and Arkansas offered him out of the high school all-star game. Instead of going to UCA and playing for Coach Horton, he went to Arkansas and played with Tim Horton. And so I said, P-Dub, did you ever think about leaving? Because he wasn't playing. And he says, you know, I really didn't. And I said, well, why? He said, I knew I could never go back to McGee, Arkansas if I had quit, if I had left, if I had transferred, because those people in McGee, Arkansas were so proud of Patrick Williams, and he earned a scholarship. And then eventually he got to play. P-Dub should have ran for mayor of McGee because he would have won, because that's how much pride that community had in having a Razorback on the team. And that's how much pride he had in his hometown of McGee, Arkansas. And so, you know, there's a lot of people that I played with and have coached at Arkansas that probably felt their same way about their hometown community.
Wow, that's well said. Give me a lot of chills, you know, when you're playing for your city, and not only just the state, but you break it down even further. You're playing for your city, your family, your friends, people there that are so proud of you. And that's a lot of times just pushes players to be even better. Coach, this has been awesome. I really appreciate it. I've always respected the heck out of you. You've always been kind to me, and I've always been a big fan. And it was an honor to have you on the show.
Hey, I appreciate it. I love Arkansas, and one of the funnest things I do all week long is I get on that computer Friday night, and like last week we were in Hartford, Connecticut on Friday night, and the weekend before I was on Friday night in San Jose, California. Okay. And Friday night, I'm looking up those Arkansas high school football scores. I mean, I'm seeing if the Sand Lizards won or the Wampus Cats won or whoever it might be, because I have a strong affection for the state of Arkansas and the high school football and even the college football, not just Arkansas, but the Red Wolves and the Bears and proud of the Harding Bison and the Tigers and the Reddies and everybody. So you're talking to someone that's very Arkansas proud and wants all the teams in the state to have nothing but success.
All right, this Friday night, you got to get on YouTube and look up more sports and watch all your coaching buddies come on here and give me a
Hey,
recap of their game.
I
And
look forward to it. I'll be doing it. I promise. Except thankfully this weekend I'll get to do it from Colorado Springs.
Hey, best of luck this week and the rest of the way out. Thank you
Hey,
again for
thanks so
coming on.
much and really appreciate being on.
It's awesome. Tim Horton joining us on More Sports. Very good night. And big thanks to Gwatney Buick GMC for sponsoring all of our interviews. A big part of the show. They make this happen. Got a text from Lance Brown out there at Gwatney Buick GMC, and he says, all Buicks 20% off MSRP now through Black Friday. And he's talking about the 2026s, not the 2025 models, the brand new ones, the Encore GX, the Envistas, the Envisions, the Enclaves. Buick is America's fastest growing brand. Buick, exceptional by design. Check them out. They support me. They support us. Go support Gwatney Buick GMC. Now it's time for us to talk a little high school football. Let's meet the More Sports Player of the Week. It's Wally Wolcott from Hot Springs Lakeside. Their quarterback led the way to a victory over Searcy last week. Wally, welcome into the show. Congratulations. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
All right, let's start with the game last week at Searcy. Man, what a great high school football game. Very tight at the first half. I think it was, 35-34 at the halftime, and then you guys pull away in the second half. Just tell me about that game, playing in that game.
It was a good one. Their offense was pretty good first half, but, offense kept rolling. And then our team, we're brothers and we have each other's back. So offense had defense back, defense had ours, defense stepped up second half and sealed it off for us.
Now, you've had a good season. I've seen your numbers there at Lakeside, and a lot of coaches that I've talked to have raved about you and this Lakeside offense. For the Searcy game, you're 18 of 27, 323 yards, I believe. The last numbers I saw, 3 touchdowns. How do you feel like you played in that game?
Pretty good, but the credit's not on me. It's on the receivers catching it, the defense getting the ball, linemen blocking right, and it's a team effort.
Tell me about the connection you have with your receivers and Drew Morgan. We've talked a lot about you guys this season.
It didn't just start in like high school football with all these guys. It's been, a whole life just growing up with each other, hanging out with each other outside of school, outside of sports. So that connection's just grown, throughout all those things. And we're technically really just like brothers on the field.
Do you know where he's going to be on the field, or all your receivers? Is that connection? Is it that strong that basically you can kind of give a look, a hand signal or something, and y'all know what to do?
Yes, sir. You can almost you just feel it. We just got like a feeling, we know where everyone's going to be certain times. Even if I'm scrambling, everyone's always like knows where to go, figuring out how to get open.
All right. Best guess. How many passes have you thrown to these guys over the years in practice, games, just backyard? I mean, how many throws have you made to them?
I couldn't even give you a number. I don't even more to count, more than I could even think of, probably.
I mean, it's got to be it's hundreds of thousands. I mean, just the reps that y'all have had, that's a pretty special bond, isn't it?
It is.
I think that's a big part of the team's success.
Oh, for sure. Just that connection, but not even with them, just a connection as like a whole team. I got connection with the linemen, known them forever, known everyone on the defense, just known each other forever.
What do you think is your best skill as a quarterback?
Probably just my IQ, using my head, knowing where to go with the ball, be smart on down the distances, when to take shots, when not to, throw it away, not to, stuff like that.
What are you constantly working on now?
Constantly working on my footwork, but then still just diving in film, making sure, we got a good game plan going into every week and knowing what the defense is going to do so there's no surprises.
What do you want to do in the future?
I want to go play college football, but we're still looking right now.
You have offers?
I have one from Hendrix.
Okay. Well, you know what? You still got some time. You still got some games ahead of you to make an impression. It all starts Friday night with Greenbrier. What do you think about this game?
I think it'll be a good one. Both teams. I think Greenbrier might still be undefeated, but both teams will have a good game plan, and we'll just trust in our coaches. For us to have a good game plan, and we'll hopefully step out of Greenbrier with the win.
This may be, I'm trying to think back, might be the first matchup of a couple of more sports players of the week, because earlier this season, Enoch Hassan was a player of the week. And it's a heck of a matchup. Good running back, very good quarterback. It's going to be a fun game to watch, and I'm sure to play in.
It'll be a fun one. I guarantee that.
Well, Wally, congratulations. A great game last week. Great victory over Searcy on the road. Now you got to do it again, hit the road and play Greenbrier. But thank you for joining us. I appreciate you, and congratulations once again on being the More Sports Player of the Week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's Wally Wolcott joining us. Let's bring in head coach Garen Rockwell of the Lakeside Rams. Coach, you can tell Wally's a very humble player. Wanted to give credit to his teammates. You tell me, what makes Wally such a good player?
I've been knowing Wally for a while. He's a better person than he is a player. I taught him social studies in the 8th grade, and so he's just a really good kid. And then when you start talking about his athletic talent and all his accolades there, that's just icing on the cake. But Wally is a competitor. But he also gets along with all his teammates, but he can also get them riled up to, being a quarterback, especially me and the DBs. I coach DBs, so he gets us a little riled up, especially in the fall this year. We were going at it to the point to where I had to tell him we got to slow down a little bit, because we were kind of hurting each other in scale and air raid stuff. But Wally, a competitor, uses his mind, can see the window before he throws it, and that's what I love about him so much, because he's a thinker, and you got to have that in that quarterback spot.
I'm curious, did he make an A in 8th grade social studies?
He actually did. Yeah. He made an A back in the day. It might have been a few times he was helping some people on a test or two of mine, but we won't talk about that. But he definitely made an A and made his classmates better.
That's the best thing. All right, tell me about his game against Searcy. That was a fun game to watch, and I know for you guys it was fun on that sideline.
Mm-hmm. Just to see, and like he was talking about the whole team, the way we came into the playoffs was different, than any other the previous years, 3 seed and losing those last 2 games. So, we all had to just come together as a football team and be like, put those 2 weeks behind us. Those are 2 great opponents that we lost to, and say, it's the 3rd season, it's the playoffs, and let's roll. And watching him lead his team, I've told him from the very beginning after Hermosillo left that this is your team, and they got to look at you even when it's really bad, and see that you keep firing and motivating them. And that's what he did. He just kept firing and kept going, and that motivated us, the defense, to get ourselves together and put together that shutout in the second half.
In those 2 close losses that following week, and you told us the story about, it's a new season. Did you see that in practice last week? Did you have a good feel that they had put that behind them?
The senior class, yeah, I did. And of course, the senior class, that's your leaders on the team. So I saw that from them. They were really locked in, and then they had to get the rest of the underclassmen to lock in too, and let them know that it was a new season. And thank goodness for Wally and his teammates, his senior class, putting all that together.
All right, what about Greenbrier this week? Back out on the road, playing a very tough team in Greenbrier.
Yeah, Greenbrier, tough. You watch them on offense. It's a good old school inside outside zone team with some play action over the top stuff. So it's a really good offense that they have. A really good superstar running back, and it's going to be a challenge for the defense. And then them defensively, they run a 3-4, very big up front. So it'll be another good matchup, good contest, man. It's just playoff football, man, and everybody's good, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's how you want it to be. You want people scoring points. You want defenses coming together and analyzing and switching up stuff and trying to stop people. So I thought last week overall, the whole state of Arkansas, all classifications had some good playoff games in it.
Yeah, it was very good. What would you tell, or what are you telling college coaches about Wally?
Pretty much what I'm telling you, man, that he's a leader. He's got a good mind, and I think because I coach college, man, and coach a couple of good quarterbacks and play with some, like, it all starts upstairs in the mind at the quarterback position. I think we're getting a little bit too carried away with these analytics, and he got to be this tall, and he got to, like, at that position, you can be 6'4" and have a rocket arm, but if you ain't got it up here, it don't matter. So, that's what I'm trying to preach to all the college coaches around that ask about him. Like, you got to take a chance on this kid because he's mentally quarterback college ready. I mean, he just really is. And that's on the field and off the field. Of course, like his physical stature, he's going to have to get to college and get in the weight room like every high school kid in America. But he's mentally ready to take on a college playbook and team.
Coach, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you and Wally. It was a no-brainer to have him as the More Sports Player of the Week. Hey, good
yeah,
luck.
he was our offensive MVP too. So it was a no-brainer, man. So thank goodness he plays for the Lakeside Rams.
Hey, good luck against Greenbrier. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
Garen Rockwell and Wally Wolcott joining us, the More Sports Player of the Week. Fantastic night tonight. If you like this video, be sure to give us the thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. Big thanks to Gwatney Buick GMC for sponsoring all of our interviews. They support us. Go support Gwatney Buick GMC. That's going to do it for tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow night. We'll preview some of these big games with Thomas Thrash. Should be a great Friday night. And it should be a great Thursday night on More Sports. Hope you can join us then.
All Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.